What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. So I am back, you guys. So this story that I'm about to bring to you guys has been all over social media, y'all. This is about this 19-year-old black woman named DeeDee Thompson. She was, taken away by a man that was an illegal immigrant in this country. This story is making headway. There are so many kind of twists and turns about this whole situation of how this woman ended up. But I just think it's unfortunate. Once again, it's another one of these unfortunate stories that we often hear about. And this one is no different. And I wanted to kind of share it with you guys and get y'all thoughts on it. Now, this young woman was only 19 years old. 19 years old. She's 105 pounds, you guys. They said she's only 5'2". So she's a small, petite woman. So in this situation, she was helpless. This was something, she couldn't get herself out of. This is why I tell young women, be careful out here, baby. You can't trust nobody because a lot of these types of things are happening. But I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna get into the story. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new content. But let's get into this. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. Here we go.
Tonight, WJZ investigates uncovering new information about the murder of a 19-year-old whose body was dumped over a bridge near Annapolis. A suspect we know in custody tonight, and authorities say he's in the country illegally. Investigator Mike Halgren live in Anne Arundel County with what charging documents reveal about this man and the case. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Rick. 7 pages of detailed charging documents. This suspect was from Guatemala. According to court records, he worked for a Baltimore-based landscaping company. Police used surveillance video and cell phone tracking to build their case. This suspect is now being held without bail. And a warning, some of the details you're about to hear are disturbing.
This is a good young woman who wanted to do good for her community.
Have you seen DeeDee?
A heartbreaking end to the search for 19-year-old DeeDee Thompson. Her family desperately looked for answers for weeks.
I want my baby back. I just simply want my daughter back.
Police found Thompson's body on Route 50 near Interstate 97 in the Annapolis area. According to charging documents WJZ Investigates obtained, the suspect, 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez Mendez, threw her body off a highway bridge into the South River. She had skull and facial fractures. Her family identified her through tattoos.
At this time, there are no additional suspects. However, this investigation is ongoing.
Thompson, who lived with her dad, disappeared after going out to get gas. She sent him this text.
I should be back soon. I love you too. Good night.
The 19-year-old is seen on surveillance video leaving her SUV behind in Hyattsville. According to charging documents, she approached the suspect's GMC Yukon and after approximately a minute of conversing, walks over to the passenger side of the vehicle and gets into the passenger.
Now, it says she gets into the passenger front seat. So it says after approximately a minute of conversing with the guy who ended up taking her life, she walks over to the passenger side of the vehicle and gets into the passenger front seat. Let's continue.
Front seat. Police say they drove to his house in Bowie and believe he killed her in his bedroom. A roommate reports hearing the defendant having sex and then a grunting noise, which made it believe that someone wasn't enjoying the sex. After executing a search warrant, police found what they believed to be the victim's blood and missing fingernail, along with hair and other evidence in the bedroom and in the trash, along with multiple pairs of women's underwear and lingerie. Hernandez Mendez agreed to an interview, telling detectives he went to a nightclub to meet his ex-girlfriend, but never did. When detectives questioned further, the defendant denied any involvement. Prince George's officials say Hernandez Mendez was in the United States illegally. U.S. Park Police arrested him for a DUI 5 months ago, but let him go.
The U.S. Government has made status of individuals relevant. This was someone who was in their custody.
And this goes back to the other case that I was talking about. If you arrested somebody for a DUI, does all of the information come up? Or shouldn't you just, if you arrested them for DUI, once you have them, shouldn't you obtain their legal status and all of the information that you need for this person to see if they're illegal and if, what's going on with them fully before you let them go? Is that a procedure? A lot of criminals have been caught by being pulled over for a traffic violation. And it was just for a traffic stop, but then they run their information and then they find out, oh, they have a warrant, or they wanted for this or wanted for or whatever, and then you can get them. A lot of people have been caught in that situation. So why are these people being let go? Why wouldn't you just, run their information to see what their status is, everything you need to know before you let them go? And that way, once again, some of these issues could be prevented. But let's continue.
And they made the decision to release him. So I think the questions should be asked of the Justice Department.
And ICE has now issued a detainer for the suspect. Now, the victim worked for a nonprofit that was one of Governor Moore's initiatives, and the governor tonight is calling her a bright light, and he is promising accountability for anyone responsible for her.
Now, the News 4i team has been digging into details about Hernandez Mendez's prior arrest by federal authorities and why he was let go. We're going to bring in investigative reporter Tracy Wilkins, who has also learned about questions here about Prince George's County's police's sort of initial handling of the case and her report as a missing person.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions in this case. Let's start with what we know about Hugo Hernandez Mendez and his past interactions with the law. An ICE official tells us he is from Guatemala and entered the country at an unknown date. But we know when he crossed the radar, federal officials, just as recently as this past spring, he was not kept in custody. Today at the press conference announcing charges, state and county officials said he had been arrested by the U.S. Park Police last April and charged with a DUI, but was released. We looked for those records, but could not find them in the court system. We asked Park Police for charging documents, but they directed us to file an open records request to receive them. But sources close to this investigation say Hernandez Mendez was arrested on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway in Prince George's County on April 25th by the U.S. Park Police, who patrol the BW Parkway. Now, that's a federal agency. Given the federal push to detain undocumented people in this country, there are questions now as to why he was released after this DUI charge. Here's what County Executive Aisha Braveboy said about that arrest earlier today.
Well, I think that the U.S. Government has made status of individuals relevant. This was someone who was in their custody, and they made the decision to release him. So I think the questions should be asked of the Justice Department.
We reached out to the DOJ and also Maryland U.S. Attorney's Office for clarification on why Hernandez was not held, since ICE tells us he was undocumented. But they told us they have no comment on this case. ICE issued a detainer for Hernandez Mendez yesterday as this investigation was unfolding. This case has taken a devastating turn. There are also questions about how it all started. Prince George's County Police have said that once they were notified about the case, they began investigating areas where Thompson was last seen. They produced a flyer that was distributed. But initially, the department did not reach out to news outlets or publish Thompson's picture on their blog or their X account. I've spoken with Prince George's County Police about why, and it was explained to me that because Thompson was a healthy adult, her case was not considered critical. When we asked the chief about that today, here's what's his response.
The facts as we have it is she was in that vehicle before she was ever reported missing. So we did canvass the area. We searched, we questioned people in the area. We looked for video. We did all of these things. As a practice, critical missings get distributed. But the family did a lot of hard work and they distributed information and you all covered that. So the information was out and the community had it.
Black and Missing Foundation partners with law enforcement to help find people whose cases are sometimes mishandled or ignored. And their work has had a great impact on how cases of missing Black people are handled by police.
I think that's interesting to point out because I've heard a lot of instances where young Black children or Black women end up missing and those cases are not handled. They're not a priority. A lot of times that's something that people brought, to the forefront, that a lot of these missing persons cases when it comes to Black women and Black children, or just Black people in general, a lot of these aren't handled and they're not focused and looked at as a priority. So a lot of these cases go unsolved and just put on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's unfortunate. And that's something that needs to be addressed. Let's continue.
Describe how their work has changed, how DC's police department approaches missing cases, and why this can be a good example for other jurisdictions.
Regardless of the situation of that person being missing, everyone gets a flyer. And that right there, that public notification is so important. Soon as that missing persons case is filed, it gets a flyer and it becomes disseminated all over the media, social media platforms, sharing it with the general public. And that right there is the first step, because the community can't help you in finding someone if the community is not aware that someone is missing. And so just those first 24 to 48 hours, those are the most critical moments.
Again, Prince George's County Police say they did distribute flyers and investigate, although in terms of social media and media outreach, this was initially more of a grassroots effort, large part because of her age. But this gives everyone an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how these decisions are made. You heard what Black and Missing had to say about it. They want every case to be treated like it's critical because of those initial hours. But, you know, as you heard from the chief there are a lot of questions in terms of timing on whether that would have made a difference with when she was reported missing. Hours. Exactly. You know, but it's just a very heartbreaking case. And then there were a number of African-American women who came up missing. We had 3 at the same time from around the same area. And there was a lot on social media of people making assumptions about what had happened and what was going on in this case. One of those women found, another one is still critically missing. But what is important is that the more information we're able to get from law enforcement, the better people are able to deal with all of this information. Just a very unfortunate ending to this case. The entire community was praying for her safe return. So this is most unfortunate.
Yeah, they had a large group of community members canvassing the area, and no doubt that large group of community members is rallying behind this family when they need it most. Tracy, thank you so very much.
Fox 5 exclusive. The neighbor of the suspect accused of killing 19-year-old Dakar Thompson is speaking out this morning. We're talking about Cody Parson here, who says that he witnessed suspicious behavior of the 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez Mendez following Dakar's disappearance.
Cody tells Fox 5 he lives next door to the alleged illegal immigrant who police say Dakar Thompson inside of his bedroom in a Bowie, Maryland home. Cody says early in the morning on August 23rd, he stepped outside of his home and saw something burning in the suspect's backyard. He says he still can't believe this happened.
I'm terrified. This can happen next door to my house, in my neighborhood. Like, my wife sits regularly in between the 2 houses and smokes late at night. This girl deserves justice. Whatever justice can be given in this world, she deserves it. My heart goes out to her family. I can't even imagine. I have a daughter myself, and I can't even imagine the grief that they're going through right now.
Police say they found stains, women's lingerie, hair from a wig consistent with one Dakar Thompson wore, and a fingernail that matches one missing from Thompson's hand. An autopsy reveals she had skull and facial fractures.
Yeah, this is just really sad. ICE officials tell us that Hernandez Mendez is in the country illegally. U.S. Park Police arrested him in April on a DUI, but for some reason, he was released.
That is crazy. This is unfortunate that this young lady had to lose her life. For any young woman that's out here, y'all, be careful, please. Be mindful of your surroundings. Don't be trusting of people, because this could happen to anyone. You don't know. You never know who's out here that's crazy, lurking, looking to hurt somebody. You just never know. And they could look good. They could look like a person that won't do you anything, but they could be just lurking and ready to take your life. This was unfortunate. I hate to see this young woman lose her life like this. Listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments of this story, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.